All right, come on down. Today, we're going to talk about temptation. Temptation. So, I thought we should all be tempted together. All right. So we all need to be tempted. So here's a sucker for you, and here's one for you. But don't eat them. Don't eat them now. You get to hold the sucker, but I don't want you to eat the sucker. You're just supposed to be tempted by it. Is it working? Is it working? No, you're not tempted by them at all? Not tempted yet? No?
She doesn't have one, that's why.
Oh, okay. Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. Oh.
He gave me my favorite flavor.
All right, don't worry. There's more suckers. So today, Jesus is going to be tempted in the wilderness. And as Jesus is tempted, I wanted to ask you guys, what is temptation? Would you like him to have one? What is temptation? Anyone know what temptation is? The desire to do something. It's a little bit more than just the desire to do something. It's the desire to do something you're not supposed to do, or the desire to have something that you're not supposed to have, like eating a sucker when I told you not to eat it, right? Well, today as we think about temptation, about wanting to do something when we're not supposed to do it, does everybody have their sucker? Are you tempted to tell me, no, I don't have a sucker, so you get another one? Now you are, right? No. Well, Jesus, when he teaches us how to pray, says, you should pray this way. Jesus says, lead us not into temptation. Note, Jesus could have said, give us the strength to resist temptation, make us strong enough to say no to temptation. But it's better, Jesus says, not to be tempted at all. Until I offered you suckers, you weren't aware that you really wanted to eat a sucker, right? And until I mentioned the possibility of lying about having a sucker, you weren't tempted to lie about a sucker, right? So Jesus tells us that it's better not to be tempted at all, but sometimes we give in to temptation. We do the thing we're not supposed to do. Maybe you've taken candy off of the table or taken a cookie out of the cookie jar, or you've done what mom and dad told you not to do in any sort of way. You've probably all done that at some point or another. And I'll be nice. You guys can eat those suckers now if you want. You can stop being tempted now. But today, we're going to hear about how Jesus was tempted. Jesus was tempted in the wilderness for 40 days. That's a long time. But all 40 of those days, Jesus resisted. He didn't give in to that temptation. And the book of Hebrews tells us that because Jesus knows what it's like to be tempted, because Jesus suffered temptation, when we are tempted, we can ask him for help. It's better to not be tempted in the first place, right? But when we are tempted, when we want to do something we know we're not supposed to do, we can ask Jesus for help, and he'll help us because he knows how hard it is. He knows what it's like. Will you guys pray with me now, and we can pray and ask Jesus for help in our own temptations? Let's fold our hands and bow our heads. Dear God, thank you for sending Jesus to experience temptation and overcome it. Help us to resist temptation and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Through Jesus. Amen.